There you go.
And here we are. Round 8.
149. Welcome.
So, as always, I know you're all wondering who we're brought to you by.
Katina.
Turn off the sounds here.
What?
You're not supposed to say the name.
Oh.
All right, it's not Katina, okay? It's a wine from, again, the Southern Hemisphere. We'll get it a little bit more narrowed down. We'll say South America. I'll just say South America. And it's a name that sounds kind of like Cantina.
Not a Star Wars reference.
Is that where they play that music?
Yeah, the Cantina.
Yeah. Well, yeah, cheers.
Here's to number 4.
If you guys enjoyed our black mouths in the last one, stick around because it's probably going to happen one more time.
Oh, that's definitely some good stuff. This is only $15.
I'm going to look at it and pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, same. I'm an expert. I've had a couple of glasses of wine, so now I can go to every wine gathering and just shit on people and tell them they don't know anything and that I'm the expert.
Yeah, so Greenland, not the country, the movie.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the country in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to spoil the entire movie for everyone.
Yeah, so spoiler alert, if you don't want to watch it.
No, I'm just going to, I won't spoil it, but I will say that everybody, including the main character, Gerard Butler, dies.
Dun dun.
No, I'm just kidding, he doesn't. I'm not going to spoil it. The only thing I'm going to talk about is something you could just look up and read anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah, so it's just your typical disaster movie. You ever seen Deep Impact?
That sounds familiar. I've only seen 2012. I don't know if it's similar to
that. It's similar to 2012 as far as like a worldwide disaster type scenario.
Yeah.
But this one focuses on a comet impact.
Oh, like a comet coming to hit the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Comet.
Yeah, comet.
Yeah.
I think
you said comic.
No,
a comic book.
Yeah, Joey Diaz collides with the Earth. No, a comet.
Yeah.
So Deep Impact was a movie similar to that, but that focused on more of an asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely took notes from that, and they didn't want to make another asteroid impact video because movie is two different things, an asteroid and a comet.
Yeah.
But it's so good. Well, it was good. I won't say it's so good.
It's life-changing?
It was. I don't look at the world the same.
Really?
No, I'm joking around.
My life has changed, though.
So it did a really good job depicting, and it came out last year, so they definitely probably got the pandemic going on, so they probably took that and was like, yeah, let's just make another like worldwide disaster type thing, and we'll make a movie out of that. But I think it really accurately depicted like how, because look, if we turn on the news one day and saw that there's a comet coming towards the Earth, there's gonna be like a Earth destroyer. I think is how they refer. They refer to them as like city destroyers and like Earth or planet destroyers.
What's the difference between a comet and an asteroid? Because I don't know. Isn't it like ice or something?
Yeah, so a comet or an asteroid, I think they're all rocks. Like all
solid rock.
They're all made out of rock. They're composed of rock. An asteroid is something in space that has never came and touched Earth. A meteor is one that came into our atmosphere and burned up, and a meteorite is a no joke. You found it on the ground. Those things are valuable.
Yeah,
they're very, very valuable. And you ever seen one like a meteor? We're doing it again. Like here was I wanted to talk about Greenland. We're doing this. That's all right. We'll come back to it. We'll do a U-turn. We'll come back to the fork in the road, and then we'll go down the Greenland road. But since we're talking about it, yeah, have you ever seen a asteroid or a meteorite?
No, I've seen a meteor shower though. If that matters. I've never seen nothing on the ground. I've never also cared to look either.
Yeah. Well, I've only. How about in a museum?
I don't know, because I think in Colorado they have the. What is it, like gems and like natural minerals or something? It might even be at the Smithsonian. I could be wrong, but either in Colorado they have like a Denver museum there, and Is it there? I can't remember. Okay, so I think the Smithsonian has one, but it's more in depth, and it's like like subspecies and like all that really cool stuff. So you'll see like jade, and then all the different ways jade has been like found and stuff, and then it'll go to rubies, all the different formats of rubies, and the technical terms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Colorado it has similar stuff, but not same scale. But I know it kind of.
First off, sir, we're talking about asteroids from space. That shit is formed in the ground. What you're talking about? You're talking about quartz and diamonds over here. I'm talking about stuff from space.
But I don't think in there even I've seen meteorites. To get back to what you're saying, no.
Yeah, so they're typically the ones that I've seen in real life. They're a hunk of iron. They're not even like what you would think of as like a rock. You say a rock fell from the sky, people are going to maybe think of like granite, something rocky, it's brittle. No, these things are made out of like straight up iron.
Yeah.
And they're tremendously heavy. So when I was in Prague, they have this observatory there, which is hilarious. Like, why do you have an observatory in this bright city?
Yeah.
Like the capital. You never put you always put observatories, the giant golf ball telescope looking thing. You put those one in a more isolated area away from humanity, and two on a mountaintop if you can, like in Hawaii they have them.
Okay.
Yeah, because you get above the atmosphere and there's less. It's like less of a filter.
Yeah, I mean, also think about if it's in the city. What about that light pollution?
The light pollution. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so now we're going down a side. We keep doing side quests here. We can't get to the main fucking meat and potato here
of Greenland.
Now I'm trying to talk about the meteorite.
Okay.
So they had one there, and it was probably the size of this table, just a hunk of iron.
Yeah.
And it was like insane. And I got the idea. I was like, I wonder if you could buy one of those. Because think about it, that's like, so it's like, well, I'll get to that in a second. It's something that, one, is extremely hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's rare for it to even make it to the ground to begin with.
Because of the burning in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it'll burn it up. And then two, if you can like find it. I mean, if you could just see and like you just have me outside one night and you look up and an asteroid hits the ground or meteorite hits the ground and you walk up to it and find it, dude, that you wouldn't want to sell that. That came from like who knows where, and it made it to the ground and it landed close enough for you to find it and hit it.
Have you ever seen Joe Dirt? When that hunk of shit flies down, he starts eating fries off of it with ketchup, and he finds out that it was like attached to some like airliner or something, and it just dropped off. So he's like thinking it's this meteorite, I'm guessing, and he's just start eating literally just ketchup and fries off of it, like so proud. And I'm like thinking like, what happens if it's like some foreign terrestrial like material and like it's their shit, and we're like, let's hold on to it, and then like we like hold on to it and like, oh, this is so cool, and it's like, man, that's my shit. That's like the peanuts.
Might be assholes sending it our way on purpose. They're zeroing it in. They're trying to get it locked on. They keep missing. So it's in the rarity as far as in the same class of one. It's not found here on Earth. It comes from outer space.
Yeah, it's extraterrestrial, right? Or terrestrial is the term.
Yeah, I think it's extraterrestrial.
It's anything not Earth, right? That's like the thing, yeah.
But it's as rare as this. I can't remember. They have a name for it. It's the mineral that gets formed from atomic bomb detonations.
Uranium?
No.
Oh, from the bomb.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Uranium is what they use to make it.
Yeah.
But this stuff is only found around the sites of atomic bomb testing.
Yeah.
From the sand getting melted, and you know how like when you heat up sand it turns into glass.
Yeah.
Well, this turns into something else because it's even hotter. Like
wow.
Yeah, so it forms. You can only get it from that. We can't make something else.
Like a Chernobyl kind of incident, or like
no, that was a nuclear meltdown. Like an actual nuclear or atomic bomb test.
Okay.
Yeah, like in Nevada.
Yeah.
You go to the site and it's like it's green. Like this glass stuff that forms from the tremendous heat is green.
Interesting.
And we can't make a furnace, I guess, to get it. You know, like when you see in like one of those metalworking factories where you got this. It's like a volcano, a forge is what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. nothing else gets hot enough to make this stuff. So it's this legitimate mineral formed by atomic bomb detonations.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So that stuff's super valuable because it only comes from that. So yeah, that's different. Well, I didn't even talk about what a comet is, so we'll get to that. We're bringing it back. So yeah, comet is. I'm pretty sure they're all ice.
Okay.
Like that. That's like the dead distinguishing feature.
Mm-hmm.
They have the tail because of the sun melting away the ice or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember hearing about that.
Which makes you think, it's like, man, that must be huge. Like, think about how long an ice cube lasts on a hot day. It melts away in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
But that's here on Earth, and the sun is being filtered out through our atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You go in space, like, how big of a chunk of ice is it that it can orbit around the sun forever, and it's still just melting? Like, think about how massive that thing must be. It seems like it would melt up in, like, a matter of days.
Yeah, I'm also curious where it came from. That's another thing. It's like, if there's all these meteors, like it's water, right? Mm-hmm. It's in the frozen form. So like, where does it come from?
Yeah, how does a ball of water like end up freezing and then just start flying around the solar system?
Yeah, like, how does it get like that momentum too?
Yeah,
it doesn't go.
It's weird. So yeah, to bring it all the way back, we're now at the fork of the road where Greenland was, the movie.
Yeah.
Greenland is about a comet impact. And I won't say that because that is kind of giving away information to the movie. Watch it, folks. It's good. It comes down to them being ill-prepared, and miscalculating things for the event. But it just depicts so well like how everything's just fine and dandy. And then in a matter of... And it's like even how they were talking about this comet. It was like kind of like with COVID.
Yeah.
It was before it was like big in the world and like actually like, oh shit, this is like a real thing. It was kind of like a joking matter, like, oh no, coronavirus. Ooh, I mean, you even saw the president at the time saying his things about it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, maybe shouldn't have said because look at us now. It came and it's like no shit, a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That might have been how everybody was thinking about it. That's how I was thinking about it. I was like, this is gonna be like a 2-week thing. And I don't blame him for that because I don't think too many people at the time were like
in panic mode.
Yeah, they weren't. But the general population, I'm pretty sure, was like, not too worried about it.
That's kind of hard to like talk about in terms of like.
Besides like doctors and stuff that like knew the real deal. Like,
yeah,
they are a medical person. The general populace in January, we'll say, of 2020 was like, coronavirus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like hard to talk about in terms of like January, February, I think
even into March.
Yeah, someone in my family got it, or 2 people did, and I'm like, oh, okay, they got the flu kind of thing, and then like. Slowly, or I should say shortly and slowly even too after that, you kind of see that like the whole country's in lockdown. And then like we kind of set that precedent, I think, because then you started seeing like almost rapidly within that same day, overnight, whatever, that like internationally, I should say, everyone started shutting down, doing very similar procedures. Because I didn't wear a mask until like April or May, somewhere in there.
You should have seen Netherlands.
Yeah.
Those people, oh man, they didn't really care.
Because like the doctors, really like you're saying, like they were like you're saying the ones that were seeing it firsthand. So to them, they were like, man, we don't know what to do, and then they're kind of being told contradicting things based off what they've had in the past, right? So like, I don't know if we talked about this before, online or offline, but there's like these doctors that had talked openly about like we can't classify every death as COVID. It's just not what it is. So kind of stuff like that, like how serious is the problem really? And at that point, it really started to show that it's difficult to show who's dead from actual COVID and who's dead for something else. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think March obviously is where everything kicked off, but leading up to it, wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think anything at all. I was like,
I was in Sweden having a good time.
Yeah.
I was just going to concerts too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Florida was going crazy still too.
Yeah. But yeah, so this movie depicts basically you take all the elements with like COVID in the news and just kind of like how it was reported on, and then like the populace and their reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you take all that and then put it into the movie, basically like captures that perfectly. Like what, and it kind of scares me because like the whole idea of, dude, people just think they're immortal when it comes in terms of an asteroid's never gonna hit us.
Yeah.
It's like a legitimate thing, and it's the worst possible thing short of like a nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the most, the highest. It's the worst thing that could happen to us as far as like a natural disaster.
Asteroid would be the worst because those things can get bigger than comets, correct?
Yeah.
Like, insane.
And the scary thing is we can't track them. I don't like people. I think the majority of the populace might just kind of think that NASA has like this early warning detection system where we can see everything, and then, which would be nice.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do if it's coming towards you? We don't have, according to Elon, we don't. I think it was him. We don't really have a way to get an asteroid from hitting us.
Yeah.
Like we don't really have a good. All right, this is the plan. This is what we're gonna do. And first off, we can't even track them. Like I think it's only like the big ones, like the no joke. If this thing hits us, we're all done for.
Yeah.
But like the city killers that are, they're not going to take out the whole planet, but they do more than enough damage to stop us in our tracks. We can't track those apparently because they're too small and we just can't see them.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I watched something on the History Channel when it was like the thing to watch. And they were talking about like these different methods that they would. It's kind of like what's that movie with freaking the bald dude in Die Hard? I'm like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
And he's like the pilot on a spaceship. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I know that movie.
It's like slipping me where they sing the freaking Aerosmith song.
It's not Apollo 19, is it?
Close my eyes.
Tom Hanks.
Is it? I think it's Close My Eyes. I might be singing it wrong. Fuck.
It's not Apollo 19. Never mind.
No, it's definitely Aerosmith. But anyways.
No, I said Apollo 19, the movie.
Oh no, well, that's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that's gonna kill me.
Space Cowboys.
Huh?
Space Cowboys.
No, that's not it. Is the
Armageddon.
Armageddon? There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he said. I don't want to close my eyes. Anyways, it's a really good song. That's all I think of that movie. I think that's a mission in the movie, right? Is they're trying to stop an asteroid from coming to Earth? Yeah, because it would be Armageddon. But anyways, what I'm getting at is like I think one of the methods was something similar to Armageddon in terms of like they would have a bunch of mini ships, not like really human controlled, more like this is like early 2000s, like maybe 2005, like when going out to space is still kind of crazy. Even back in the 60s, it was crazy. But they'd put all these different spaceships, and basically their idea was they're gonna just
push it.
Yeah, like just thrust it away, or at least slow it like enough to where they can get another like bigger ship and kind of thrust it away. You see what I'm saying? So like pump the brakes, and then shoot it where we want it, or at least redirect it. Because that's the thing about space is like I'm pretty sure like once you're going, like you're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
There's no stopping.
And that was so it's that method, the nudge, and then the other method is blowing it up.
Yeah,
shooting freaking
like a nuke, literally.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Why wouldn't? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so apparently, I can't remember which 13-year-old on YouTube I watched explain this to me.
Yeah.
No, it was somebody. It wasn't like somebody big. I can't remember which channel. But apparently that wouldn't work because in space things are attracted to each other, and if that's all that is really around it is pieces, because it would blow up, it would disperse, and it would regroup. So I don't know if that would, like, if you make it a bunch of like little pieces, will it burn up easier in our atmosphere, and then it might do something, because if it breaks apart in our atmosphere, then you got, rather than one giant thing,
You got like 1 million of them.
Yeah.
For instance.
Rather than taking out one city, you can take out a bunch of cities.
Yeah. The problem amplifies dramatically.
Yeah. So apparently that way wouldn't work, and then I'm pretty sure it was Elon talking about this. There's another thing, and it's basically wrapping it in like tinfoil or something, and the sun will push it. If you put like cover up one area of it, like one side, with this like sail, like solar sail or something. It's called.
Okay.
Yeah, or just put like something over it. It can actually start getting pushed out the way. So long story short, I don't think we have a plan.
Yeah.
If this plan exists, I don't know that the populace would know about it. It might be something they just tell everybody about. But I'm not fully confident we can deal with a freaking asteroid or comet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure when I was growing up, I don't know how true it is. I've never looked into it. Really, word of mouth is what it was. But my dad was saying that like this asteroid came by and like it was literally like hours away from hitting us, and then somehow it just like went away. It was kind of flew by Earth, and like it would literally have ended us that day. And I'm like, I kind of think about that sometimes. Like, happens if like we had this crazy disaster. Like, you wake up one morning, you're looking outside, and then you just see this huge flash, and then like a couple seconds later, you're dead. You don't.
I think about that a little bit too, because it's like we can't track these things. The smaller ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it coming for us right now? And humans, they think they're so like immortal in the solar system. An asteroid doesn't give a fuck if you just started your business and you got so much more ahead of you.
Yeah.
If you have cancer and you just like
doesn't care if you're a baby either.
Yeah, you're about to beat cancer and your life is only gonna get better. It doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like this is like a real thing, and nobody thinks about it. Well, I don't say think about it. Nobody talks about it in like a way that we would talk about nuclear weapon use.
Yeah.
They spend a ton of money on that. And we spend money on locating asteroids and that, like, solar system or extraterrestrial threats. Maybe not aliens, but more meteors and comets. At least a comet, you can see it coming, I would think.
Well, you said the water, right, burns?
Yeah, because it makes a
stream.
tail, so at least gives us something like see coming. You can see it coming. We're like, all right, here it comes. But yeah, so it's like a legitimate thing, and it's kind of scary because, like, at least like nuclear weapons are like, it's kind of weird. Like, why are people more worried about nuclear weapons rather than an asteroid? Because we have complete control over nuclear weapons. It only does what we say. So at minimum, we can at least tell people who are getting off their rocker and like threatening nuclear warhead use. At least we have some kind of we have input. An asteroid, it's a one-way street. It's either going to hit you or it's not. And imagine if something was coming, and let's say we only had a year. Like, how long would it take for us to get up there? All these different countries bickering and bitching back and forth. Like, there's too much. It would be too much talk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. Is like, there's not really that unified global effort to stop what's gonna kill us all. Like, again, the borders that we create, not just like North and South here in America, because that's just how it is. But I mean, like, countries, right? So like China, North Korea, South Korea, Europe, or even like New Zealand and Australia. Like, out of any topic in the world that's bothering us, we need to come together on that. Just like space. Like, why was the U.S. and Russia competing against one another for space superiority when we should both want to be up there,
Yeah.
Like, if they're talking about going to like Mars or the moon, for instance, or some other viable planet, why not do it together? Just to say that you can go live there first. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's going to be the elites, right? They kind of get that first ticket out there, or even the guinea pigs, you could say. It could go either way. But it's not going to be a matter of you're a Russian millionaire or an American millionaire. It's going to be whoever can pay the most money to get up there, kind of thing, So, like, just go for the overall effort of just getting space
advancing.
Yeah.
That's why everybody likes Elon. It's like he's doing it for the world.
Yeah.
But I think I would hope that if it came to like, look, if we can't decide on this or like agree on this, the whole world is gonna get destroyed. Like we're all gonna die. So I would like to hope and think that we could all come together, all the big space agencies and whoever else, Elon, his company, SpaceX. I would hope they could come up with something quick, but it's like how much time we're gonna be like made aware of prior to. Do we have everything ready to go? Is there like just some asteroid response team on standby all day?
Yeah.
Like people in the Air Force ready to get in their F-18s to go, scramble the Russian bomber that's flying close to Alaska.
Yeah.
Do we have something like that? Probably not. It takes forever to get like, I don't know how many years it took for them to work on what we can talk about next, the rocket to deliver. Man, I forgot the name of the rover. Perseverance.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long did it take us to get that rocket together, and like all that? And I get that's something more a little bit more. Well, no, you could say it'd be a complex mission.
I think for the time when they launched it was early 2000. Well, you got to think the assembly, and then manufacture in terms of like putting everything together, because you can build a rover by itself, but then putting it into the spaceship, and then getting ready for the mission.
That's a year. That's years.
Yeah. So I think it was 3 or 5 years. I could be wrong.
Yeah. For this one, they were definitely working on it in 2017, because I was watching a video on it today, and they had footage of them like getting it together. So 4 years. You think we're gonna have 4 years? I hope we would, but you're gonna have to have equipment, something special that we've never used before. All right, guys, we need to bring our engineers together and quickly come up with something that we can use to take a fucking asteroid out. Do we have that? Do we even have the plans or ideas on paper? Like, what are we gonna do? We have like no time at all.
Well, the thing is, like, at least it might be the American thing. I really don't know how these other countries do. I know they control information, right? It's just the way they do things. But NASA just kind of puts their stuff out there, and I don't know if it was Perseverance. What was the ones before? Spirit is one of them?
Spirit and Curiosity.
Yeah, I think Curiosity is the most recent one that is still alive.
I think Curiosity isn't anymore. Spirit definitely isn't.
I know I can't remember, because one of them died.
And it said it's getting dark and cold or something like that.
Yeah,
that meme
I think it got
around?
stuck in the mud for a while.
Dust covered up its solar panels.
Oh, and it couldn't recharge.
Yeah, it couldn't get it. It's like a tragic, sad story of this poor rover.
Yeah.
All alone up there, just dying.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, it's a thing to think about. It's like legit, but if you talk about that in like a serious setting, you might sound like a loon to people, because, like I said, there are no asteroids gonna hit us. Look, I'm about to retire. I gotta live, man.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this asteroid that we can't even see is just barreling towards us.
Yeah, what I meant to say on that, my bad, I kind of lost track, is that
we
NASA will put like this information out, and I watched this rover footage, and they compiled it in 4K. That's what I was asking. I don't remember if it was Spirit, Curiosity.
Yeah, I watched that today.
Yeah.
The year long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had to like I don't know, I can't remember. He started talking about it's 4K, but it's not actual 4K. I think.
Okay, maybe I didn't see that one.
I could be wrong. And obviously, you're seeing it's 4K, but like the way it's imaged is not. It's like a bunch of pictures. That's what it was. It's a bunch of pictures, and because they can only send small bits of information, especially with the distance.
Yeah. Takes 20 minutes. One way.
For that like small piece of information.
Yeah. You want to move it a little bit to left? Hit it. Go to the bathroom, take a break, come back, and then it'll move.
So we share that information, right? But these other countries, maybe they do or they don't, or they cover up some of it for whatever reason. So I'm just saying, like, why aren't these other countries sharing? Because I don't hear anything other than NASA. I could be wrong, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased, and all these other things are publishing things.
Yeah.
But like, all these other places should come together and want this information to be published. Because like, I think part of that is maybe the American dream, right? In terms of like 50s and 60s, like literally a good time where like when you think of space, You think of like what we were talking last week, like this. It's not a simulation kind of thing, but like man, like there's just so much out there that you can go explore.
Yeah.
Like, what's out there? We don't like again. We don't know. Like, yeah, we have things that'll tell us like, hey, this here, that's there. Or, this planet's made of this. It has this gas. Or like Mars, its seasons are this way. But like we still don't even know that. And like even crazier to think about is we don't even know about the depths of our own ocean.
Yeah, I was about to say while you were talking about it. I'm all about like the space thing and everything, but I'm also a fan of one. It's more convenient because it's here. Yeah, our oceans. Like we don't. It's some high amount. I don't know if it's true or not. It goes around every now and then on the interwebs. Like we only know about this percent, X% of our own oceans and this, that, and the other. So I'm a fan of that, but that's not something you hear about too much. I know they study it. They have those subs that go way down.
Well, that's like I think their problem is that the pressure's so immense per square inch that like, how do you build? Like, how do we build something like that? Because it's kind of goes into like space. If we want to leave Earth one day for whatever forsaken reason, right? Maybe we need a ditch. That's our way. We go to Mars. We just up and leave because the asteroid's coming or whatever. But I think it kind of goes into that argument of like, if we spend too much time on Earth and it goes away, what have we done in space? You know. So I think maybe that's kind of the kickback on why Earth hasn't been studied so much. Like, yeah, we know like the rock composition, the layers and core and all that, but you know, if you were to tell me about the Bermuda Triangle other than death, like what else could you tell me? You know, like what makes that so unique? And again, we don't know because every time we talk about the Bermuda Triangle, you really only hear people getting lost, weird things happening, UFO, like nothing concrete, you know, like other than it's an area in our world that's like very mysterious.
And plus now, I think back in, the 60s when we were first going to space, I think then it was more of out of like curiosity and like, let's see if we can do it. And then we did it. And then it started turning more into like observation and looking at, different galaxies or nebulas through our nice giant telescopes. Yeah. Now it's, and especially in the 21st century, it's shifted towards, all right, we're destroying this planet and we need to get out of here. Yeah. Like maybe not tomorrow, but at least the next few generations. And now it's turned into like a search. Like the search for, Mars is so attractive to us because it's like, we could live there. As far as everything I've heard, it would be obviously harsh, but you could live there. And that's better than this planet if it's destroyed or, well, it probably wouldn't be destroyed because at that current if it's going to get destroyed.
Is it larger, right? Mars is no?
It's smaller.
Oh.
Not by a whole lot, but it is smaller. But yeah, it's like the shift went from, oh, that's pretty, let's study it, to like, all right, we need to find, like, we look for planets too, and there's some planets close by. Yeah. Like within under 10 light years, there's one planet, I think it's Kepler, one of the Kepler planets, which is like close compared to like all the other things, but we don't have, and not in our lifetime, we're not going to have the technology to get there in any reasonable amount of time. So yeah, that's why like Mars is like, that's all we got. Like where else are we going to go? As far as like living somewhere, we go to, you have no other option, literally none in our solar system, and plenty of options outside of our solar system, but how are we going to get there? We're going to send people, and maybe in 100 years they make it. So yeah, I'm all about like them dumping all their money into, because this is our only option, and at least it's been deemed that you could live there. It would take a lot of work and everything.
Yeah.
Getting it. All right, how are we going to terraform the thing so we can grow stuff? How are we going to build there? How are we going to get all the stuff back and forth? It's going to be past our lifetime. I'm sure in our lifetime there'll be, I think in the next, I'd say 10 years, we're going to have people up there, like footprints up there.
You think?
Yeah, why not? That badass rover is up there. Maybe 10 years, like, being ambitious, but
Yeah.
20 for sure. I'll say that for sure in 20 years. I think so. I mean, I don't know what Elon says.
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure. Have you ever seen Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams?
No, I'm uncultured.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it. Kind of be a spoiler a little bit on some of it. Hopefully you guys have watched it.
How dare you?
Is the I'm pretty sure the movie ends in either 2017 or maybe a little bit further. But like, I mean, I don't remember it being much of a difference, and they really didn't go too much into the future. But then certain aspects they did, right? So it's kind of weird. So Robin Williams' character, he starts off as a robot, and then over time turns into a human. It's really cool. The process that you see, at least. But I'm like,
is it like Darth Vader?
In terms of like how he looks, or what do you mean?
Well, I was saying that more for a joke, but I guess is he like have something medically wrong with him, or
you mean when he transforms into a human?
Why'd they? What? Oh wait, he went from a robot to a human.
Yeah. Oh, so like
I got that backwards. Sorry.
It's kind of like.
How's that work?
How does that work? So that's the thing is like, you think about health now, right? So if I'm 80 years old and all my kidneys, organs are failing or whatever, all my major organs, how do I replace it, right? So you come at it from, let's say, a millionaire perspective, billionaire, not millionaire.
So going from a human to a robot.
Yeah. So like this will tie into it.
Okay.
So like currently our thing is like, how can we live longer, right? So how do we create these artificial organs? And I think the argument too is, I think what's that show? Not Hole. God damn it.
Black Mirror,
yeah. Right, where they have all these weird, cool things.
The greatest show on earth.
Yeah. So I think one of them, I don't know if this is episode, but I'm just thinking this kind of like in their realm, is like when you're born, they take your DNA, right, and then they culture it and literally make a twin of you. I think there's a movie. Someone, I swear someone told me.
There's a episode of Black Mirror similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's called Be Right Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, you have this whole world, or I should say, maybe it's I don't know where the hell they're at, of these cultured twins, right? Like identical everything. They have working organs. So they're living their normal life, and then you have the actual elite people, like elites, right? That when they die, they just say, hey, I'm ready to get organs from that person, and that person doesn't understand. So they kill like the cultured person and get their organs, right? And so they can live longer, right? So imagine I'm like about to die and I need a new heart. We're like, bam, this guy's 30 years old too. Let's go kill this guy. I'm going to get my new heart. I'm going to be able to live till I'm 100, for instance. And what I'm trying to say is like, so we have that idea, right? My bad. Where we can grow it as soon as we're born. Or you can do it where artificially you have these plastics, or I think rats are very popular. Like they've grown ears on them and shit. All these weird organs. But like you can grow them artificially. So kind of tying into Bicentennial Man, at their time in history, or I should say in the timeline, they didn't really have that capability. Like, so they show, you know the Jurassic Park guy, like the main guy? I don't ever know his name. He has like the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
So he's in that movie. He's like the dad in that movie. So you have Robin Williams as a robot, a little girl, and she kind of like, you see the generations, like the genes are very strong, and like the little girls has kids, and then they look like the mom, and then like that mom has kids and it looks exactly like the mom. So it's like you could see like where the kids come from, but obviously they just kind of play back and forth or whatever. But you can see in that time life, like they start literally making like these like silicone organs and replacing them. And that's kind of how Robin Williams gets from a robot to a human, is they're able to make like, at first I'm pretty sure it's silicone, like a bluish hue to him. And then he ends up switching to like like human organs. And that's kind of where it's crazy because like if you think about like the skull, the brain, and the brainstem, like how do you replace that on somebody?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about his like consciousness?
Yeah,
so it's
it
still
doesn't really
a cyborg.
Yeah,
it's like 99% human.
I think he becomes full human. I could be wrong at the end, but eventually he just literally dies with one of those little girls. Like I'm saying, it's like you know those Russian things where you stack them.
Yeah, Matryoshka dolls.
Yeah. It looks like a Matryoshka doll. Like obviously not really, but like generations down the line, he finally passes away with one of the daughters, and that's kind of what he wanted. It's weird because like you get into the spooky shit like. You have a robot, and then somehow throughout its lifetime, it like no shit has feelings, emotions, and turns into a human. Like, talk about freaking transgender, all these different things, and then you have robots. Like, what do you consider that?
Yeah.
You know, like that's its own thing. But
yeah, I'm more interested in the. I used to be more of a fan of space stuff and all that, but it's not as attractive to me now. Now that like AI and advancement of augmented reality and simulated reality and VR, all that stuff, because it's like here, like it's already here, it's already getting better. I don't have to wait. What, are we gonna go to Mars in the next 5 years? I don't think we are.
Yeah.
Next 10 years, maybe. I'll say we will. I'm optimistic. Definitely in 20. In 20 years, AI is gonna be like old. It's gonna be like so, because it's already a thing right now.
Well, what will make it old though?
Like it'll be not old. It'll be old news, I guess you could say.
Oh yeah.
It'll be like pretty advanced at that point.
It'll be common, you know.
Yeah. But in 20,
bulb.
like space stuff just takes so long. It in our attention spans, and I guess even mine, it's like, all right, what's cool right now? All right, this. It's gonna get better next year. Oh, really? Okay, let me keep an eye on this. So that's why I find a little. It's definitely super interesting, but as far as like devoting my time and what I like to look into, because it's like space stuff. You read about stuff and it's like, it's not gonna happen until 2030. It's annoying like reading something that sounds so cool and you're like you look forward to it, and then it's like, man, this isn't happening even next year or next 5 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be like way down the line. But at least with that, so Perseverance, do you know anything about it? I'm an expert on it. I watched some YouTube videos.
Just that it's a rover. It's like simple as I know.
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah. So
I'm an expert now.
yeah, after this, you're going to be like, you should probably go work at NASA after this one.
I'm going to go get my degree in aeronautical science or whatever.
So, yeah, it's a rover. Been working on it for probably 5 years.
Yeah.
2017. There's footage of them working on it. So yeah, it's like your standard rover thing. It is a lot bigger than the Curiosity. How they got it there though is a lot. It's like completely different. They use basically a rocket drone, a rocket powered drone.
Yeah.
That they AI'd it up. They put all of his brains in it, and they're like, all right, go land the drone. Go land the rover. So they launched it there. They shot this pod detached from it.
Yeah.
Descended down to Mars. It separated. The pod opened up, and then a parachute deployed, and the parachute is holding the drone that is holding the rover.
Okay.
So it's parachuting down, and then the rover drops free, and it's hanging from cables. So it's like a picture like a helicopter, like with a tank tethered to it. And It's just carrying it, and then it lowers it down. Tank you can drive off. Then a helicopter never touches the ground. That's what happened. It lowered itself using there was no human. Human wasn't controlling this thing.
Yeah, it would have taken too long.
Yeah. Because it's like the 20-minute thing, and it just picked us. They had a spot but it picked it based off of even more finer details. Because okay, now I'm here and I can actually see the full thing. I'm not looking at it through a telescope picture.
Yeah.
So it picked out the spot and they lowered it down. The rover got dropped down. The cable's detached and it flew off. I don't know where it went, by the way.
It just died.
I think I don't think it went back up into orbit.
Yeah.
And definitely. I think it flew away and just crashed somewhere, which is kind of sad because that's a fucking waste.
Yeah.
If it was my way, assuming we're gonna go there at some point, I would just had it. Maybe it did land. It probably did. Why didn't it crash the multi-million-dollar thing?
Yeah.
It probably landed somewhere, and we're gonna go get it later.
We'll see.
Why not?
Yeah.
Isn't that where our mind is? We're going there one day, right?
Yeah.
We should be thinking in those terms. Like, we'll get it. We'll be back in. We'll be there in 10,
30,
15
40 years.
Yeah. I'll get there eventually. Yeah. So, pretty standard equipment and everything. Well, not standard, but it's what we're used to. Curiosity had like its cameras. Everything is far more upgraded, obviously.
Yeah.
But as far as like the equipment on it, it's what I saw was pretty much, the standard run of the equipment. It has the soil sampler testers and all that.
Yeah.
You can get everything. So one thing that's doing different is it's not collecting soil and analyzing it and that's it. It's collecting it, analyzing it, dropping it in a test tube, and dropping the test tubes off in a specific area for a reason that I'll get to after this advertisement. No, I'm just kidding. I'll get to that.
I was going to say, I was like, what?
Yeah, we're sponsored now, guys. So yeah, that portion is completely new. I'll get to that. The coolest fucking thing about this thing, it has a helicopter drone in it.
No.
A two-bladed helicopter.
Jeez.
It is stowed inside. I don't know when this thing is going to come out and fly around.
Yeah.
It's coming though.
They better be good at that shit because you crashed that thing. There ain't no replacement.
So I don't know what. So actually, I do. So yeah, it has a helicopter, and what this thing looks like, it's pretty simple looking. It's far less complex than a consumer drone.
Okay.
Is.
Yeah.
So it's basically a box with 4 springy little legs, so it can land, and it can land a little bit harder and it'll be fine because the legs give. And 2 blades sitting on top of each other, and they spin opposite directions.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're stacked on top of each other.
Don't we make helicopters like that now?
Yeah, Chinooks.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
A helix?
they're not stacked on top.
Think of a helix.
Okay.
Yeah, they're stacked on top of each other. And on top of that stack, there's a solar panel, for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So it has a nice camera. It has like a 4K camera. So
I need 16K.
Yeah, it should be 16K. We're on Mars and we get a 4K camera.
What is this bullshit?
How do we have all this money and brains to get to Mars and you give me a fucking Motorola Razr on this
Just
thing?
stick the Samsung on there.
So when that thing starts flying around, sending back 4K 60 footage of Mars, that's gonna be like, whoa. That's gonna be. We've never seen anything like. The landing video of it was shot at like a very high resolution. I don't know if it was 4K, but it was like, it's not your typical what you're used to seeing, like this. Like it doesn't film a full motion video. It's just like it takes pictures and then they stitch it together and you get some shitty 1950s slideshow thing and they're like, all right, there's the thing landing. No, this was like a full resolution descent. You can see the dust getting kicked up. Look into it after this.
Oh, well.
Actually, you only have to because I'm telling you everything.
You're the expert.
Yeah, I'm the expert. So this helicopter drone thing is not piloted by us, I don't think. Yeah, it can't be. We might initiate it, like we might tell it to take off and everything where we want it to go. But it's done all by itself. It's completely autonomous, I'm pretty sure, from what I gathered. And it can fly for up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's it.
So pretty briefly then.
Yeah.
Is it because the solar panel is limiting it?
Yeah, that, and it requires so the atmosphere on ground level there is the equivalent of our atmosphere at like 80,000 feet. It's 1% of our atmosphere on Earth.
Oh,
it's super thin. So think like to fly, you got to push off the air.
Yeah.
Well, if it's paper thin, as in 1%, you're not going to be able to gain lift. So they have the propellers spin at like, I think it was 2,000 RPM.
Jesus.
So these things are like
You can hear it from a mile away.
Nitrous mode.
Yeah.
Because they got to spin it so fast to get enough, to generate enough lift so it can actually fly, because it's pushing against like
so much.
No, so little. There's no air to push against. Like,
I see. Yeah.
To generate lift, you need the
air to go.
You need to push off of air. So that's why it's like really brief. But yeah, it's a freaking. We have flight now on other planets, soon to be.
Yeah.
That thing's not even gonna make it. It's gonna crash. That's gonna be. I'm hyped to see the video footage of this.
Yeah.
If that thing crashes and we get one flight, I'm gonna be sad. I'm pretty upset about that.
Yeah, that's pretty. I wonder if it's a minute long. A minute 30, you said?
Yeah. Imagine a minute and 30 4K 60 video of just a freaking vlog flying around. Yeah, cruising around Mars, guys.
Well, I wonder how long it takes to ascend, right? Go up.
Yeah.
And then come down, descend. So, like, if you think about this video, like, it's going to take me 20 seconds to get up, 15 to get down, we'll say. Probably be a little easier. And then, actually, vice versa.
You're going to be getting less than a minute of actual traversing
flight. And then it's like, how far is that radius, right, of how it can go? And then, like, if it does go off, like, let's say, worst case scenario, they get stuck off the rover. Does that matter? Can it survive off the rover, or does it need to be near the rover? Because then you can just keep going and going and going. But I don't know the capabilities. Maybe you could fill me in on this. Is like, does the rover have like an enclosure for this little drone?
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I know it can't. I don't know how it's gonna get from the underside of it.
Oh, it's on the other side.
Yeah, it's under it, and it needs to come out. It's stowed up inside of it. That's how big this rover is.
Maybe it would drop, like it would like poop it out.
Yeah,
like put it on the ground.
Keep
going, and then it just.
I would think they would stay somewhat close together.
Yeah. Some alien just comes up and destroys it.
Dude, imagine that would be so bizarre if you're a Martian. You're like, what the fuck is that? What is this helicopter?
Dad, get the shotgun.
Yeah.
They don't even have shotguns, probably.
That would be so bizarre to them. But so the test tube thing.
Yeah.
I think it's already on the way. I can't remember how many years. It's in the near future, as in like less than 5 years or less. I'm pretty sure. They have another rover. It's a more simplified rover going to Mars. And this is going to be badass. So they're sending another rover to Mars, and its sole purpose is to go there and collect the test tubes. Okay. Like, it's going to land right by, and it probably left like a crumb trail. And it's just going to go and collect them all.
Yeah.
Put them away, drive back. So it's going to land, and it's going to land in the pod that lands in. It's going to stay there. It doesn't fly off and go crash somewhere like Perseverance, that drone did. No, it's going to land there, and it's going to stay. And it's going to drive off, go collect the things, and it's going to come back to the descent module, and it's going to get back in some kind of rocket, and it's going to blast back up into space. And this whole time, the rocket that it came in is going to be orbiting, and it's going to go and link up back with it and then fly back to Earth. And we're going to have soil from Mars in
10
X amount of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff's going to have like some kind of virus in it. They're just going to wipe out this whole planet.
It's going to be the coronavirus 49.
That would be, I know they're going to be very, not like, they're just going to be probably over the top careful with it. Because we can't even travel to other countries with soil from that country. Yeah, you're bringing some shit from another planet, and we don't know what's in this stuff.
Well, who's to say when it hits Earth, it won't do one of those alien things and like multiply and just wreak havoc on everybody?
What if it burns up in the atmosphere and the dust is floating around?
Yeah,
and it does some horrible. I don't know. It's not gonna do that because they know at this point. It's just like,
oh, you know.
I know. Yeah, I'm an expert, bro.
It's gonna come back. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's just, and plus it's all rust. I think, like it's all like iron oxide.
Oh, okay.
On on Mars, it's not like dirt, dust. Well, it is, but I'm pretty sure that's where it gets its color from. It's like oxide.
Do they want to say, or are they going to say, what the purpose of the soil sample is? Like, what's so good about sending all? I mean, they're obviously investing a shit ton of money in it, so it's got to do something. But like, do they say what they want to see from it? Like,
I don't know what the gain is.
Yeah.
Because that rover now is outfitted with all like a host. I would imagine it said it had more advanced like sensors and stuff in it, but
Yeah.
it's definitely like a lab kit up there, and it probably even has a microscope, and it's gonna be sending back as if we're. I don't know what the gain is. Might be like, oh, I got soil.
Yeah.
But that helicopter, man, that's all I care about. I cannot wait for that 4K video to come back.
20-second video to come back.
Yeah. And so yeah, that's probably the best way I can summarize it. This is the extent of my knowledge on it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though, because I remember when I was a kid, in that Denver museum I was telling you about, they had this space auditorium. I'm pretty sure, I don't know, whatever the fuck term it is, and you'd like sit in these seats, kind of like at this really cool angle, and you're like,
Oh yeah,
looking up, and the whole room is like a curved. It's like an IMAX, is what
no,
it was.
it has a name for it. I saw one of those too, and
It talked about the rovers.
I have a funny story about that. I'll get to it. You just reminded me of that, but it's called a
Observatory?
No, it's damn it. I think it starts with an A, like I don't know. So you want to hear my funny story?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So we went to a school, a college campus when I was in. It's probably not even that funny, but
Yeah.
I think it's silly. I think I was in, I was a senior.
Oh, okay.
So like last week.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah. It was actually pretty interesting. So we go in there and it's completely dark, and there's this little pinhole in the wall, right?
Yeah.
And it's letting in light from the outside, and it's basically like a camera sensor. So like you put a lens on a camera,
Yeah.
and it lets light in, and it focuses it on the sensor. So they had this small hole in the wall that let in light from the outside, and the light was cast on the wall, and it was upside down. The light, because the way light works, it comes in and it flips.
Huh.
So, but cameras, it does the same thing with cameras, but cameras and its software flips the image back around, so you never see it.
Yeah.
So like we were looking at what light does and like what our brain does and flips it. I think that's the way it works. If you have an optic, the way light comes in, it flips it on most of them, because it doesn't do it on like a scope. Or maybe it does, and there's another lens in there, it flips it back around.
Yeah.
I think that's how light works. Like if it enters something, like a hole, it's going to be upside down. So there's no way for this light to get flipped back upside down. So because it was upside down, we had the dude that was leading the little tour thing had us all stand up and then turn around and look through our, like under our legs
Yeah.
to see it. And so I didn't catch the memo that we're just doing this briefly and looking at it. But I was so captivated by it and so intrigued by it.
Yeah.
I was standing up there for a while everybody else had sat down. So it was just me out of the whole filled auditorium, still standing there like a dumbass. I was there for like a minute, and everybody else was probably like, "You can sit down now, dude. It's not that cool." No, I just remember that it was silly. It's one of those things.
That's too funny.
Me being a doofus when I was that age. Yeah. I wish I could remember the name of it. It's like I'll have to look it up, but we did one of those, and it was really cool. They did like this virtual like tour through the solar system and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love space stuff. Do you have a telescope?
No. I don't know.
Have you ever looked through one?
I feel like I have. It was like low powered. I don't think I could really do much with it, from what I remember. It was one of those like really dinky ones.
Oh, okay.
Maybe back in like 1600s, it'd be cool. But when I was a kid, I was like, eh.
That's a shitty telescope, bro.
Yeah, it really like, maybe like a recorder size, and then it had like that little weird tube up top, like where you could see where you were looking, but it wasn't
the
like
sight.
defined. Yeah, the sight.
So, of all things I've ever looked at, my most favorite thing I've ever seen with my own eyes, besides you,
Ugh,
is
how dare you?
so
Take
I
them
have.
back.
It's not an expensive telescope. It's a higher end one.
Yeah.
It's a reflector telescope. So it's like the real deal. It's on a stand and everything. And it's very high magnification.
Sounds amateur.
Yeah, it probably is compared to some of the stuff they have.
Yeah.
I looked at 'cause where I live. It's pretty low light pollution.
Yeah.
Almost to a point where you can see the Milky Way going across the sky. Not quite. You have to sit there and really look, and you can see it. But so I have an app, right? I used to use an app that I could like hold up to the sky and see where whatever celestial thing I wanted to look at was at in the sky, and I would like compare it and be like, oh, there it is, and I would move my telescope and look at it. So I actually looked at the Andromeda Galaxy one time.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to find. It's really hard to find because you got to be somewhere where there's like no light pollution. You can see it with your naked eye. But I found it, and I was just looking at it. It's just like a smudge. It's like if you have a nice piece of clean, like if you had a super clean phone screen.
Yeah.
Just like rubbed your thumb on it, left like a smudge on it. That's what it looked like.
Hmm.
And I was just looking at it, and I was like, and you could see how distinctly it was brighter in the center.
Yeah.
Because it's a galaxy. I was looking, I was like, man, that's a whole other galaxy. That's not even here. Like everything else we're looking at in like when we look up, I'm pretty sure all of it, most of it, like all the stars at least, are like here. That's in our galaxy.
Yeah.
It's like our home. But I was looking at that and I was like, that's a completely different galaxy. That's like its own thing with for sure life up there.
Yeah.
Gotta be. And I was just looking at it, I was like, that's pretty bizarre because it's so far away too. It's so massive. Mm-hmm. It's like the biggest thing up there. It's a galaxy. It's not the biggest, but it's pretty large. You're not looking at a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I was like, it's just like one of those things. Like you look up there and you wonder. It's like, man, there's something in there in that galaxy.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I used to love the stars in my room. Did you ever do that?
Mm-mm.
No? So my mom's best friend, her ex-husband, and her would do it where they'd turn the lights off in the room, and they'd get like this black light, but it was like a ball, like a crystal ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
It would like project them.
Huh?
It would project.
Yeah, it would project all over the room.
Yeah.
And obviously they'd want to do just a ceiling. They didn't really care about the sides. And they would just do like glow-in-the-dark paint. And then they would create like constellations on like, you could put different templates basically. And
okay.
Yeah, I remember like being a kid and I looking up like, man, like what is this? What is that? And I'm like, man, space is like so cool. So like from a kid, I've always like loved space because it's one of those really badass things that like we're never going to be able to finish exploring it, especially in our lifetimes, without a doubt. But like you talk about all these different galaxies, then like you're talking about this little. You've never seen Rick and Morty, but there's this episode, and he's looking through a telescope, and he's like, a smudge on the lens. What do you mean smudge on the lens? And then like he gets this like pedophile dude arrested, and it's this big thing, and then he literally looks in the front of the lens, cleans it off, and it was like no shit, a smudge on the lens. But what I'm saying is like that little smudge, like if you were to like be in its presence, would be like so massive you couldn't even tell that it was a smudge,
Yeah.
So like you're talking about literally how big it is, and then like that's one galaxy out of all the galaxies that we know of. And then you've probably seen on YouTube where they do like a human or something very, very small, and then they like lead it up to a human. So like there's videos
Just showing the scale of
so you'll see a human or it really does. It does Earth, and then all our planets in our solar system, and then it slowly goes out, and you can just literally see like how small we are, and like
just nothing,
literally
insignificant.
Nothing. And it's like, man, like if we're this big, and like you think about traveling the world or Earth, I should say, in 48 hours. I don't know. It probably takes less hours than that. Probably it takes like 36. And then you have these ginormous things like where it probably takes like no shit like couple 100 hours just to get over from once like rotation, like that's what can you fit there, what can you do with that? And it's just pretty interesting, like talking about Mars and being so high altitude. Like how would we evolve as humans if we were to live there? Like would we be able to, I think you said it, terraform, like make it to where we can live that way? But I don't know, I think we're so far off because how do people get to Mount Everest? They have these oxygen, right? So like how are you going to ship oxygen millions of miles away?
it sounds like I was just saying I'm optimistic,
Yeah.
but at the same time I'm like realistic how I'm looking. It's like, how are we gonna live here? This is the most extreme. It's worse than living on any desert here on Earth.
Yeah.
Because at least here on Earth you have a normal atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like kind of
normal for us, right? Because
adaptations.
For us, yeah.
What we've adapted to live in.
Yeah.
It has this many psi and it has this composition of oxygen, and we can breathe. At minimum, we can breathe. We're gonna die of thirst, but look, on Mars, you're gonna suffocate on top of being dehydrated.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it kind of is like silly to think that. I think some people might oversimplify. Yeah, we're just gonna fly there and boom, we saved the planet because we're not here. And then this is like, okay, do you know how much that entails? That's so much work.
Yeah.
It's so harsh up there. Freezing cold, burning hot, no air, dust storms and high speed winds. It's like Elon was saying, the like a lot of people are gonna die in this like this thing we're trying to do. This like long, probably several 100-year mission of getting people on Mars, colonizing it, and then we're double planetary.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so hard to do. How long would it take us to, if one day we were like, all right, we're going to set up shop in the Atacama Desert in South America somewhere? It's nothing but sand. How long is that gonna take? Less people will die, yeah, because at least we have access to like a hospital several hours away by plane.
Yeah.
If something arises. We're not going to have that on Mars. So it would be super difficult here on Earth, where we have at least oxygen and hot temperatures, but nothing that we can't completely not endure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like probably 130, which is hot, but it's not like it's going to actually kill us. On Mars, you're actually going to die.
What's the high and low usually, or the average?
I don't know. It's not super crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's not like it can't be, because obviously we wouldn't be able to go there at all, and like we wouldn't even waste our time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll like around a certain time of the day, I guess, with the how the sun is shining and what level of light the planet's getting. I think it's something bearable, like 60.
That's not bad.
No, it's
That's pretty. I mean, I'd be in shorts and a t-shirt, but I wouldn't want to be. You know.
Yeah. So it's definitely bearable, but it gets like freezing cold because there's no atmosphere.
Yeah.
And there's no global warming yet.
We haven't been there.
Yeah,
so
we haven't got there yet. Wait until we get there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like if we were to just up and say, all right, maybe they should have done this first. Be like, all right, let's see if we can actually colonize a desert. In essence,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna first try to colonize. Insert desert here, particularly the most barren one, because if you want to do it realistic, you gotta have the most barren, desolate one.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go there and prove to me you can even colonize a desert. Set up. How long would it take you to set up the basic essentials to sustain life, like food, shelter and hospice,
Yeah.
some kind of medical facility because people are going to get hurt and need medical care. How are you going to sustain like water and all this? And this is all without the oxygen piece involved, because we can breathe here on Earth.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would do that here. That'd be a hell of a task. And now they're talking about going to another planet and doing it. Like I think we're for sure going to be there soon. We are not going to be living there anytime soon.
Yeah,
How?
I mean,
Like
not in my
how-
lifetime at all.
How much? That is so much work. Just going there. All right, we're gonna build stuff. I mean, if you can go there and build something, and that's you cling to that thing as your life, because you're gonna need it. You can go in there. You can wear a spacesuit 24/7. No, you gotta go somewhere, take it off, it has to be pressurized. Water and food, how you get that? Are you gonna have a process to grow it? Is it gonna come to you? Like, it is so much work.
Yeah, I mean, like, something I was thinking about right now is, like, you get into that territorial thing, or, like, something like Star Wars, video games, it doesn't really matter. You can kind of compare it to. But, like, so let's say we cultivate it, right? Like, everything lines up perfect. We established it based on insert desert. And then we go over there, and then you kind of look at how we were founded as a country. It's like, does the U.S., does Earth command this new Mars? And then you get this friction of like, hey, now that we figured out how to establish ourselves, you can't come over here. Don't even think about it.
And that's just like ultimate proof of showing who we are as a human. Here we are all these years later. And you ask anybody, they'd say, we're not cavemen. I mean, they look at us and they might think a little different. But
yeah,
they would probably say, like, we as a society are not what we used to be. We're not Neanderthals. We're not these people that just want to go out and kill people, and we're super territorial. Oh, yeah? Well, how come if we went to Mars tomorrow, that would be a problem? 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
A problem of, no, this is ours. And, like, all these laws would get formed on this other stupid planet. It's not stupid, but it's stupid to think about. Like, this would be, like, why can't we all be in this together? I sound like a progressive crazy person with blue hair saying that, but when it comes to that, that's like the ultimate. All right, we need full on cooperation here. Nobody's gonna be fighting over stupid shit. Everybody's gonna get along, because we're gonna die if we don't. This is the most harshest conditions. But after all these years, just like if we found a new piece of land or island 100,000 years ago, we would do the same shit nowadays. After all these years of like learning about our past and knowing what is right and wrong, it would still come down to us as a human. It's like that primitive shit hasn't, after all these years, is still in us.
Yeah, I mean, you also think about, like, if they're on this planet, on Mars, and they forget to pay a tax, or they don't want to pay a tax because they're who they are as people, or they're the woke culture over there and they love it, whatever, for instance, or they're grumpy culture and they don't want to be with these people. So, they stop sending them resources. And think about that. Like, how extreme is that? Like, oh, we're just going to we've decided, we've weighed the results. We want 1,000,000 people to die because they don't want to pay their taxes. Like, think about that.
We would bring all those dumb, this would be our opportunity to, like, start fresh. It's the same as, if the West Coast wanted to secede from the United States and they wanted to just start clean slate. We're going to be our own country. That's kind of, I guess it's really, I don't know. I don't really know about it. But this for sure is our clean slate. Like, as clean of a slate as you can get. It's a whole other fucking planet.
Yeah.
So, but guess what? They would take all these stupid values that we hate. Not all of them are bad, but some we can't get rid of because we would have to, like, start fresh.
Yeah.
Our studio's breaking down, folks. Our $high studio.
Did that just snap back?
It just slipped off. It's fine.
Oh.
So yeah, we would take, like, taxation. People don't like taxes.
Yeah.
We would for sure take that there. Which is okay. I mean, but I don't know, like, where's money coming from.
Well, think about from China to here, how much the tax is now.
Oh, yeah. I'm not talking about that tax. Yeah. That's not what I was thinking. Well,
or even Hawaii. Think about how expensive Hawaii is.
Yeah.
You want to go to Mars? A gallon of milk is $100. Mm-hmm. That'd be insane.
Yeah, so it would be the worst place to live.
Bar none.
Like, why would you want to go to Mars? You're not here. You're like,
there's no McDonald's.
You're a 2020 modern human being who is no longer equipped with the physical traits to live in a harsh environment. We're not big and strong anymore. We're not as fierce. We're softened. And you're going to take, like, if you could have a Neanderthal and send them to Mars, they would fare much better than we would.
Yeah.
Because at minimum, they're more used to, like, a harsh living condition.
Yeah.
So we're sending the most ill-prepared, just, like, physiologically people. Maybe not brains. They make open in their brains, so they
got fat brains.
Yeah, they figured out a lot. They do a lot of planning and all that, and they figured out so when they get there, their chances of survival is a lot higher. But it's going to be the worst possible place to live because you're living on a desert planet.
Yeah.
So
let me hit you with this one.
Uh-oh.
What about...
By the way, I'm still optimistic. I'm just saying
the realistic
it's not attractive by any means. Why would you want to live on Mars? If I could come back and just stay there for a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
So Noah's Ark, right? How they like the idea behind getting two of these certain species or certain animals or whatever. Like, yeah, human, like even here on Earth, right? You're talking about experimenting on Earth. They say that like people that are actual vegans, you know, that actual diet long term isn't the best. So, so like you have to have like this mixture of. I can't play that one.
Yeah, sorry guys. Siri was being Miss CIA over here listening.
You tried covering that up pretty good.
I had to shut her up real quick. It's like I was smacking a fucking mosquito on my wrist.
That's what it looked like.
Sorry. Yeah.
What I meant to say is, how do you, I guess, train or even have these animals adapt? You know,
because like saying if you take them to Mars.
Yeah, because I'm saying like
like us.
Yeah, like diets, right? We would need these animals to be there so we can live like a proper nutritious life, and maybe. Right, if we talk about animals and stuff for them for global warming, like it does affect them directly, especially their food chains.
Yeah, habitat
and
displacement
habitat.
And all that.
So, like, if you bring them to Mars, what's the effect on them? You know, that's interesting to talk about.
So you're talking about us as the animals, or like actual?
Yeah, like let's say we brought lions with us. How would we do? Maybe we go over there and now we have another problem.
There would be that asshole. Oh, I gotta bring little Timmy.
Yeah,
that's a shitty dog name. I gotta bring little Bowser. Oh, I've had him all my life. It's like your dog can't come.
Yeah,
it's going to die if it comes. Yeah. When we start bringing animals to Mars, like pets. That's when you can tell, like, all right, we must have made progress because caring for ourselves, period, would be immensely difficult.
You bring like a bunch of like apes, like Planet of the
turn them
Apes.
loose. Yeah, 2001: Space Odyssey type stuff. You ever seen that movie?
I think I have. I can't remember.
It's okay.
But anyways, they like bring like they control Mars and we're fighting like this Martian war.
It's so annoying because I know people might have in their minds like I was saying, this is our clean start and all this. You would have to make sure you keep that stuff, like everything, like human behavior, like malicious acts, like just being a bad person, period. You would have to keep that shit locked down so tightly because you cannot. This is like if you're doing some extremely, we'll say, you're doing a military op or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
You're doing any task that, we'll say, even launching a rocket. You cannot fuck up in any possible way or it's just going to be screwed. Like, people are going to die. Yeah, that's how the first however many years on Mars is going to be. But it's only a matter of time that bullshit from here, because where's all the people living on Mars coming from? They're coming from here.
Yeah.
So bringing all these pre-existing, they're going to take social media up there with them. And you're just going to have all the problems that you had on Earth are going to start. I'm not saying initially, because they can't.
Yeah.
I would hope that people going up there, we're sending the brightest people up there first, and they're all there to like, they're super focused and they want to get it right. But give it time. These assholes, like once you get it so good that just a regular Joe can start moving up there, it's going to get tainted. And this clean slate that I think they're going to start is not going to happen. I'm not saying environmentally, because I feel like most people can usually get on board with that. I think we all want to save the planet for the most part. I don't think a lot of people want to go up there and be ready to destroy the planet like how we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be the bad apples.
Yeah, there's always
regardless, unfortunately, too.
But that's the whole idea with getting to Mars. Like, that's in the back of it. All right, we need to do this because, one, we didn't take care of our own planet, and we're coming here to start clean, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to take care of this one. So I think everybody would be on board with that. I'm talking about all the other social bullshit problems, like judging on wars and starting news. They might as well just ban news up there.
Yeah.
They need to recreate. They need to take like a constitution up there, and then take the First Amendment and then alter it. I sound hypocritical, don't I? Talking bad about the news.
Yeah.
The news is in the interest of just divide. And
Yeah.
it's undeniable. There's two clear sides, and that does nothing. That should damn near be illegal.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it should be because, I love the First Amendment.
Yeah.
If they want to be assholes like that, it's their right. They just need to know that they're being fucking assholes about it because they're doing nothing good.
Yeah.
When we go to Mars, the news is going to be there. It won't be initially like that, but give it time, and those same problems that we have here are gonna. And you don't have any room to we can't afford any conflict here.
Yeah.
They shouldn't. There should be no Second Amendment or military up there. We do not have a chance to go out and. We should not have arms up there.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous. You should not even have the capability to even wage war against someone.
Yeah, why would you need to?
Yeah, like that.
Unless you find an actual Martian extraterrestrial that you need to legit fend off.
I'm very pro gun. There is no place for firearms on Mars. How is there?
Yeah.
It's so dangerous as it is. You give someone there's always gonna be an asshole there, and this motherfucker cheated on me. Or he was cheating on my wife. I'm going to go shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just going to create this huge problem. So I'm optimistic about getting to Mars, but I am certain that all the problems that we have here are eventually going to make their way up there.
Yeah, I was thinking of two issues. So, let's say The Matrix is a good one with the dude, the bald one in the first one that kind of compromises him, or Jurassic Park, the fat dude that compromises him by shutting down all our systems and security. So what I'm saying is here, let's say in the world somewhere, China, Russia, U.S., anyone, it could be anyone, offers John, I just want to name this dude John, $1 billion to go to Mars. Still something, maybe they're advancing somehow, Mars, the people of Mars. And then if you can fuck them over, I don't know, this thing's detrimental. So if you take it, it's going to fuck them over. And then you bring it back to the U.S. so I can have it, and they don't. I don't know, let's say some weird crystal or some weird comet. I don't know, something you could bring back, right? That could be a huge issue, just people being compromised through money, which has no meaning in general. Or you have, what was this other point that I had? I don't remember what it was. Fuck. I don't remember what the other point was.
You idiot.
No, it was pretty good. It was just, I forget what it was. It was because I had 3 things I was trying to point off of that. And that's the only one I remember. But it's you have that issue of there might always be someone kind of sneaking in there, compromising it,
Yeah. You're always going to have that. Oh, man, they would bring politics up there. Oh, no. Who's the president? Do we pick one leader of Mars? That's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Who would lead it, right? Is it going to be the world? Is it going to be China? Is it going to be whoever put assets up there?
That'll be the problem right off the bat. No, this is ours. This crater, it's ours. So what belongs? Because we're territorial. That's the first problem right off the bat is territory. This is ours.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they would have to have this all figured out.
Oh, definitely. And it would have to be strictly enforced.
Was it pre-assigned or
in terms of
who's this belongs to you?
Yeah.
Area.
Because you could have riots, right? You could simple as that. That
kind of goes. You can't do a riot on Mars. You will die.
You wouldn't want to, but people might. It might be that. So again, archaic survival of the fittest kind of thing. But what I remembered I was going to talk about is I read an article for school either last week or 2 weeks ago, within the like couple weeks, and it was saying like this dude was talking about this famous trial and how this attorney, this defense attorney, was defense attorney. What is it? 'Cause, you know, like the state's prosecutor, but it's like, what is the title for that? It's not DA, is it?
I'm not
ADA,
too
assistant
sure.
DA.
I don't really know.
Anyways, like for the defense, I'll say that.
I watch Cops coming up, so I should know. But
Oh yeah, is this guy saying like how this dude represented somebody, and they were like he's a poor person or like a bad person, but he's a great attorney, and then they said the same thing for the news as like they revealed this information like they're a bad person but a good reporter, and like I'm talking about this because like your Second Amendment. It's like there's these weird things that we have in place. So like let's say the defense attorney, right? So like the way the system works, the way we've created it, it's pretty here I'm going to give you this word and you're going to love it, robust. Robust criminal justice system. I keep hearing that word thrown around, robust, like as if it can't fall apart. But anyways, we have this robust criminal justice system, and the reason the defense exists, or I should say the right, you're innocent until proven guilty, is because like you need that. Like it's kind of goes into that checks and balances of like if you don't have someone fighting against the system, like how do you ensure the system's actually working correctly, right?
yeah,
Obviously you find it out through appeals and all that stuff, or maybe the evidence, for instance. But then you have these reporters that like report information, and maybe they didn't need to do everything, but like at the end of the day you were informed about something. So like let's say who's the homie over in Russia right now?
Vlad.
No, not him. American
Snowden.
dude. Snowden, right? Homie over there. So like, yeah, Snowden did everything wrong, and how he.
Edward Snowden is an American hero.
Some
I'm just saying that
say
to piss people off.
What I mean by that is like, yeah, he had this good intention of doing it. Yeah, you can give me some too. Just finish yours off though. If there's some.
I think it's only.
Oh, you just pour that bitch in yours then. Is like these kind of things are in place. So like Snowden, if you guys don't know, ended up going to who was it? The New York Times, right? It was like 3 actually different agencies. I thought
Yeah.
2 or 3.
I can't remember who he initially went to.
But when he went to these places, he told them, you know, like the U.S.'s secrets. Not all of them, but some of them. And the reporters have this protection that like they can't get in trouble if they have a source, because it kind of goes into that confidentiality.
Yeah, I think it's like a whistleblower act.
Yeah,
I think
that
that's
too.
what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm just getting at is like, yeah, we definitely but we may not want like a First Amendment on Mars, but the news is like fundamentally we need to inform people, but people twist that and have these weird protections like in that gray zone. It's not black or white zone, it's like a gray zone between that, where they're kind of acting unethical, but it works because it's not wrong, it's not right.
Yeah, but it's almost like I wish we could amend things and like do amendment within an amendment. It's free speech, yes, 100%. What everything the news says and everything everybody says on social media, with the caveat of unless it's like no shit hate speech and you're going to no joke create violence and people are going to get hurt. You should be allowed to say it, and they should.
Well, that's like the hard part, though, that like they've tried to with algorithms, is find out how do you discern actual.
And they're
hate
doing
speech.
it. They're taking advantage of the right. It's like, yeah, you for sure should be allowed to do it, and it's okay that they're doing it. Actually, it's not okay they're doing it because we didn't know that there's going to be these organizations. 200 something years later, 300 something years later, that have the power to influence elections, wars, and overall decisions made throughout that. And in the flip, over the long term, it affects people's lives.
Well, in the long term, it undermines the government.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what it's doing.
So it's like, is that is that okay at that point? Because you're no joke destroying the country.
Yeah.
Our country in particular. This constant, it's like, all right, your free speech is going to get put on hold. Because, look, it's the fucking news, too.
Yeah.
And when they're clearly just doing nothing but trying to get people riled up, that shouldn't be allowed, I don't think.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted, folks. Yeah. We're not trying to be crazy political here. We're just saying, like,
when it's to the point that they're using the First Amendment to spew out constant negativity, and you are in turn ripping the country apart and dividing us.
Well, like
how is that allowed?
Well, think, like, let's say you go to Starbucks every day, right? Or fuck Starbucks. You go to a coffee shop every day. You go to mom and pop coffee shop every day. And then all of a sudden, slowly, they make you, like, wait outside. You can still get your coffee, but you have to wait outside. And then slowly, a little bit down the road, you have to wear a certain uniform. You wear that certain uniform, you wait in line, then you go get your Starbucks. It's the same thing. Like, they're slowly transitioning how you get information and, like, what you're seeing. So, like, we're used to seeing the news every day. Like, it's what we want. But now it's like, slowly I'm going to start showing you one side of the picture, and you're going to kind of slowly realize that you're going to talk about it. And then, bam, you kind of forget about the other side because all I've shown you is one side. So I think that's the toxic part about the news is, like, whoever's in charge and whoever has that popularity is the one that's their message is going to get out for, like, these big corporations. I don't want to say their names because they can go suck it, but it's just pretty shitty because, like, how is that free speech, right? Like, you're saying it's free speech, but you're not putting everything out there.
Free speech for the individual is very important.
Yeah.
Like, full on should be as true to the First Amendment as it's written in black and white. But when it's that same right is applied to this giant organization who can influence the world, and they can say whatever the hell they want, and everybody's tuned in, and it's because that wasn't a thing back then. The spread of information being instantaneous to billions of people. It's like you almost want to just tell them they're not allowed to do that. But that's unconstitutional, and I'm all about the Constitution, but it's almost like you would say, you should not be allowed to go up there and say, I don't know, I'll just use, if you own firearms, you are a fucking problem because you support X, Y. Actually, no, that's the one. We'll say you should not support the police. That's like a problem because you're influencing the whole country to not like the police, and then in turn, maybe you want to do something violent or something. Maybe the overall, you took that community that liked the police, and because you said that, you started putting thoughts in their head. Like, you're so powerful that you can change, you can create your reality. Like I said I was telling you about the toilet paper shortage. Mm-hmm. I think that was created by the news, because the news can create their own reality. Yeah. They can come on any day and say, there is a gasoline shortage. Guess what there's going to actually be tomorrow? A gasoline shortage, because everybody's going to rush to the gas station to get gasoline. Yeah. It's like, so is that a First Amendment right? When you're doing something that powerful, you can just say whatever the hell you want, and you can change the course of the economics of. You can change the stock market.
I mean, talk about homie Elon and how he's always getting these SEC things. Like, he says one thing and bam, he's in trouble. But then you have these news stations that say stuff like that, and it directly influences what happens. Like, all of a sudden, toilet paper went up. These over the web services for talking face to face went up. Like, that's not the reality that happened. Yes, people started using it, increased for sure, but, like, that's not necessarily the reality across the stream, you know? And I think that's kind of what the news does wrong, is they say one small thing is compounded across everywhere, and it's like, you can't say that. Like, it's not representative, and it's not true, you know? So, like, you're talking about also the double standard even more. Is like, you're saying, let's defund the cops. The cops are pieces of shit. They killed one man, and now that this one small department killed a gentleman or a female, now all these other places are operating that way. Like, now we need to investigate everybody. And I'm like, all right, pump the brakes, check yourself, because then you're talking about how you're going to shift to these cops. But then you talk about like the coronavirus, right? Initially, it was called the China virus by our former president and many others, like legit, because it came from China, right? China virus. So you're saying stop the China virus, call it the coronavirus, call it what it is, COVID-19. And then on the other hand, they're saying, oh, fuck the cops, and yeah, let's not support them, let's defund them. So like, you're saying it's okay for one group but not the other because it deals with race, and one deals with like livelihood and like actual keeping people safe. Like, this doesn't make sense. It's these weird double standards of what you're saying, pushing their side of the First Amendment. It's a accurate representation of doing what you want, but it gets skewed to how it's in their benefit.
Must be nice, right? That nice good old First Amendment where they can just come over here and say they're... That's why when people stomping on the flag, that gets a lot of people pissed off. Whenever I see that, I'm like, that's what it means to be an American. He is stomping on the flag, and he is allowed to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's good. Should you do that? No.
Yeah, fuck no.
That's not something you should do. But goddamn, if you did that in certain other countries, I hope you're ready to go to prison.
Seriously.
That is the most American thing. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
This whole First Amendment thing, it goes both ways.
Definitely.
Well, increasingly less nowadays. Looking
Yeah.
at people on the so-called right, not following the narrative of what the left tech or news companies want them to say or think they should be saying.
Yeah.
They gotta just censor them and put them away. It's like that's not fair. It goes both ways. Just like I'm allowed to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance while you're also allowed to stomp on the flag, which I want people to do because I don't want them to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
that ability.
that I want them to have the ability to do that because that is like as much freedom of expression as you can get.
Yeah.
You can go and just stomp on the flag, which is a fucked up thing to do.
I think it might be actually like, I think there's laws against it, but people people are still doing it kind of thing, right? More open.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a law against that. There might be in some places, but
Yeah. I don't think it's a national law. I could be wrong. I honestly could be wrong, but I remember...
Might get fined for it in Texas or something.
Yeah, President Trump saying something about it, like how it is like a law. I'm almost positive it is. I don't know. Maybe it is a federal law. And
I don't want people to stomp on the flag.
Yeah.
Let me fix myself.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to have the ability to, because that's ultimate First Amendment right there.
Yeah. I remember... We can go into this next piece I remember in school. Is I used to... So my freshman year, I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. So I was 8th grade. Dude, I don't know what I was doing in 8th grade to this day. Like, when I look back at it, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing that day? But anyways, I was doing something in 8th grade that, I don't know, a little mini executive or something. I was super busy, had all the appointments lined up that day. And they had this assembly, and these two people that would be my future teachers got like a good, like, you know, they handpicked them kind of thing, like, hey, we want you here to see kind of like pool who's good and who's not. And I wasn't there for this, right? So I found out later, because like it was a big thing, like, hey, if you're going to this assembly, it's kind of like not for the whole school, it's for only these 8th graders. And they told me, like, yeah, like they did this thing where they wanted to see who would be in this freshman leadership class or whatever, right? And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And they're like, yeah, your name was in it, but I don't know, whatever the fuck I was doing. Again, I really don't remember. So fast forward, and my freshman, I get my schedule. It says freshman leadership, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I never even went to this, I'm kind of excited. And turns out the teacher, one of the other teachers was kind of supporting it, like making sure it went through, you could say. But the main person, a very good friend of mine, I just haven't talked to him. Kind of makes me sad thinking about him because I haven't talked to him in so long. I love you, Gonzo. I really do. What?
Nah, nothing. Go ahead.
His first name's Kelly, actually. He's a really cool guy. And
I'll just reveal that whole identity of him. Why not?
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I mean, he's probably honestly not even on social media, man. He's one of those old school kind of guys. Like, I think he was born like in the 50s. Could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's like the 50s, like that Korea era. Like he says he remembers seeing black and white and then it being color. He says like he vividly remembers that like that cool change. I'm like, man, that's insane. Anyways, what I'm getting back to is like we're doing this this class and it was about Vietnam veterans, and so it was like a 3-year process, right? 3 years of kind of talking about it, getting it through the logistics piece of like, can we do this and can I go along with this? And then the second year leading up to the event, it's like 2 years out, is getting the students, right? Which is kind of, it's like on that teeter-totter between the third and the second year away. And on the 1.5 year mark, I believe is what it was, is when we came into the picture. Like, it's like that summer between 8th grade and the freshman year. And we're going through it, and they're like, hey, you guys are going to plan this huge Vietnam memorial for people, I think in Colorado. And then at this time, it was only Colorado, right? And I think maybe I could be wrong, but the intention was to get as many Vietnam veterans as we could. And, you know, as the year goes on, all this stuff goes, and we're somehow reaching to, like, I don't want to say all 50 states, but I'm pretty sure it was, like, in the 40s. It was a lot of states. But we just got all these really cool veterans from everywhere. And it's just kind of cool because talking about the American flag is like, it was like kind of that moment in my life, that year really, where I started to become like super patriotic. And that's kind of where I became proud about my country and wanted to help out, you know, especially the way I do now. So I was like, man, like I see, especially in Vietnam, right? Learning about Vietnam, that was part of it. Like we really learned about Vietnam as we were doing the planning. And you see like, you know, people back then spitting, cussing, anything derogatory towards these Vietnam veterans. And you kind of understand, like, man, like, it's so shitty that these guys went through that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, God bless America that they were able to do that stuff. And I hate saying that. It really makes me feel ugly and disgusting saying that. But, like, that's how you know you're American, you know? Like, you can have those kind of problems versus in other countries where you're going to get shot. Like, we don't care. If you're not
imprisoned,
one way,
punished in some fashion.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the draft thing. I got to take a halftime minute.
Okay, I'm going to keep going in the story.
Yeah, do a halftime show real quick.
Oh, don't keep going in the story?
No, you can keep going. I got to use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Take an intermission.
So to keep going on this really cool event is I was kind of like a pawn in it, really. I didn't play too big of a role. Yeah, I didn't. There was a couple other people that were major players, especially the two people really involved. And by the second semester, we were pretty much tying everything together. So we had like straight up logistics, like, hey, these people were going to be here. They were coming from these states. This is what we were going to have on that day. So it was really interesting, like really exciting, hyped up. You could definitely see who the real leaders were in that class. And again, I was kind of doing the standby of it. I was definitely helping out, but not as much as others, because a lot of people, I'd say probably 4 or 5, including some of the teachers, would do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like after hours and stuff. And, you know, they're doing school, sports, stuff like that. It's freshman year. It's a really big year for a lot of people. And, like, coming up to the day, like, I still remember, like, man, like, this is cool. This is my first time meeting, like, real veterans and stuff. And I was pretty shy, talking to a couple of them. And, I mean, some of them, honestly, were really shy. And it's not because they're just timid people. It's because, like, this is the first time a lot of them have been able to come out from their homes or even just been able to talk about it in a setting as that without being ridiculed. Like, I remember some stories. One of the dudes that my teacher went through, he went to his house and he wouldn't even have come by had my teacher not went and talked to him. And it's just one of those things that, like, the overall theme was, like, bringing them home. Like, hey, you didn't get this welcome home. We're going to bring you home the right way, the Prairie View way. So it was this really huge thing. I think we ended up getting, like, 420 some veterans, maybe a little bit more, 430 veterans from literally everywhere. and we had this. I can't really remember the setup. I just remember how I did it. So we got them all up on the stage because it was in our huge auditorium, and they kind of walked down the center, and then they each went left or right. Like they split up into twos, walking down, and then they just kept going. And like the whole time, they're getting like a nice shake on the hand. And I think we ended up giving them some stuff. So we ended up having our art teacher coordinate like with literally all the art students. They made like these really cool medals. It was like gold, and they had like a star in the middle and some other stuff around it, and then like a red, white, and blue ribbon to go around their neck. And we gave that to them and some other cool stuff. I think a Prairie View wristband. But I remember like I don't know why it was like so emotional. I just my first time being that way. But you ever seen Born on the 4th of July with Tom Cruise?
No.
Oh, dude, you need to watch it.
Again, I'm uncultured. I'm sorry.
You've watched Platoon, haven't you, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Platoon is a really good movie about Vietnam. Born on the 4th of July.
I need to watch Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
I have yet to see that.
I would just watch the normal one. They have all these crazy versions. Just watch the normal one, honestly.
Crazy versions?
Like
what?
Director's cut, extended cut. There's a third one I'm missing. Yeah, Apocalypse Now is a really good one for sure. And The Seeds at Firebase Gloria. It's Hamburger Hill, I think, is another one. Super. Like if you have no idea about Vietnam, or if you have a remote idea, just watch one of those. It's really good. And so going to like the day is like all these like really emotional veterans, and specifically this one I'm talking about. And he's in a wheelchair, and I like go to shake his hand, and like I don't want to say he was grumpy, but he was just kind of like. He looked kind of mad. I don't know. Maybe it was just who he was. I don't know. I really don't know. But I went to go shake his hand, and he didn't have a hand. Like, He was, like, just no limb. Like, he had basically, like, chopped off, like, legs, arms. Like, literally, that's it. And I went to go shake his hand, and I couldn't. And I was, like, stunned. And I was like, oh, fuck. I ended up, like, crying or whatever, like, after this. Because I was, like, so shocked. I was like, oh, my God. I tried to shake some dude's hand, and, like, I'm like an asshole. That's where I came. I was like, man, I'm an asshole. Trying to shake some dude's arm, making him probably feel uncomfortable, which, well, I don't know if he did or not. I never got to talk to him after that. But it was kind of one of those things like, man, these guys like really like no shit gave it all,
Yeah, some of them no choice either.
Yeah, for sure. Like the draft.
Yeah. Yeah, seeing someone who's, so you're talking more like, so like a physical
disability.
Yeah, disability from the result of going to combat or war. That's obviously like when you see that, you're like, you feel like something, like, man, you feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
Have you ever been around someone who is like PTSD'd the fuck out, like to the max?
Never.
You ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
So, how can I put it? So, at one point, I got to be around a lot of disabled veterans.
Yeah.
They were doing an event.
Back home?
No, somewhere where I was. I got to be around a lot of disabled veterans. And there's this one guy there who was a corporal in the Marine Corps. And I can't remember his name. It sucks because he's on. You Google him and his story comes up.
Yeah.
And this guy, he got shot through the neck. He lost a ton of blood. He survived, obviously. And that completely fucked him up. He like couldn't use his one of his arms, and so we were doing an event with them, and they were doing like the Olympic shooting. You ever seen that very professional Olympic?
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. Yeah.
We were doing that with air rifles and air pistols.
It's exotic, I think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a different form of like marksmanship shooting. It's like very like professional looking, like fancy. So we were doing that, and this guy was so I was just standing there because I was volunteering for it. I didn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
A lot of it was standing around just watching the veterans do their thing. A lot of them, some of them were still young, missing a leg or two.
Yeah.
But mentally, they probably all had PTSD of some level.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, it was heartbreaking, dude. It was so upsetting, like seeing this. He could not stop like this number, looking around, and people were continuously shooting. So it was like a constant, like it wasn't loud. It was air rifles, but it was a continuous like small pop. Yeah, just it was more of a snapping sound.
Mm-hmm.
So after a while, you tone it out because it's happening all the time. It's like every now and then it would one would catch him off guard and it would freak him the fuck out, and he would jump around, raise his fist up like he was gonna like block himself and stuff. And no one could like stand behind this dude. Like when he would be shooting, if someone was like stand behind him, he'd be like freaking out and stuff and just like looking around. And I was like, God damn, dude, this is what combat does to someone.
Yeah.
It was so like, seeing that is like, it haunts me. Like seeing that, it's like that, just seeing someone fried like that, completely fried like that. And this isn't meant to be like derogatory towards him, but it's like, if you just like, I don't know, had like a robot or something, and he had something off with him, you need to like reprogram. That's like what you're witnessing. Mm-hmm. It's like, but we can't like we can't get that out of them. Yeah. They're like, and like this guy's like wife left him and stuff after his injury because, he was debilitated heavily from it. He did a lot better because people had saw him like a year before, and he like had lost a ton of weight they had put on, and he was doing better. So that's good. But just seeing that, and then you hear people we talk about before like, oh, I want to go to war and fight. I'm like, no, the fuck you do not. Do you want to end up? You want to see your, even worse, you want to see your good friend end up like that? Yeah. I don't think you do. So quit saying you want to go fight, because you definitely don't.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Is like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was in the stories that we learned about through that class. Is like, I remember one guy, in the story that my friend was telling me, is like, he just like, it's vivid to this day. He remembers like looking down, seeing his best buddy, and like that's his last breath. And it's like, that's like really hard, especially for even that time. It's like, how do you go from seeing your buddy take his last, like, you're living in the same foxhole, you're living in a 5x7 little box, for instance, fighting day in and day out for 365, and he's gone, and then now you got to keep going on, and hey, now it's time to go back, and then you get spit on, and like you still have this like very traumatic, like you're not even over it, right? I mean, I was telling you about it, like, I'm not war story, but I'm just saying like similar situation in terms of like when my grandpa died, when I came back like off of that leave, and it was like so short, and then like I was like not traumatized, but I was like, man, I'm still not over my grandpa being dead, and it's like, hey, go back to work, you're fine, and I'm like, fuck, no, I'm not, like the same thing with this guy, like he had to endure something way harsher than I did by far, and it's hard to fix something like that, because like there was 2 instances where there's this county or town, whatever, back home. It's pretty far off. It's like 3 hours away. And my teacher went back there probably 2 or 3 times to convince these veterans to come, to our thing that we were doing. And they couldn't. They just could not. They had so much PTSD from being treated like garbage that like they couldn't even make an appearance. And like I remember like my dad and him made this really cool memorial for him, like, hey, this is like the service you were in, this is like I think the medals they got or something, I can't remember, but it was really cool. And the sad thing is they never even got to see it because they just could not physically show up that day. They knew if they did, they'd break down. And then on the contrary, one of the people that he visited had nightmares since the war, like literally every night. His wife had to help him like wake up in the middle of the night. And when he came and talked to him, and even after he went through, he was like, all right, I'm not waking up no more. And she's like, after like that day, once the event happened, he fell asleep and never woke up until like 8 hours later, kind of thing. Like full night of sleep, like nothing interrupted him.
So like got it off his chest or whatever.
Something, yeah.
That's good.
It's like amazing. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like people like might give up, especially wives, husbands on these veterans, and it's like it's not going to happen in maybe the next year or the next 5 years. It might happen right before they pass away, but you know what? Yeah, at least you could experience that,
Yeah, that's good though. Like because we did something similar with the World War II veterans, but that was during a time when they came back. It was like much more patriotic.
Oh yeah, welcome your arms.
Yeah, all hail the fearless, World War II veterans. But fast forward 20 plus years, it's not the case.
Yeah,
so that's good that you guys like try to make it right with them.
Yeah,
like sorry that. Yeah, and then. But that generation will tell us that we're fucking assholes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not saying that whole generation is, but
some of them, yeah.
I don't think we would do that nowadays. Is what I'm saying.
I think we would, honestly. Not. I
don't think we did it to the Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans.
Well, that was like a thing that one of the veterans came in actually, and he was saying that I could be wrong. His daughter either had PTSD. She got over it, or she got it and she killed herself. I couldn't remember. It's one of those two. I'm pretty sure she killed herself. Because, like, she came back from Iraq, Afghanistan, and it was the same treatment. And, like, it was, like, a direct comparison from those wars to Vietnam. When they came back, they were, like, getting spit on and all this other stuff.
Really?
So, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe some veterans listening to this in Desert Storm, Iraq, Afghanistan, early 2004-ish, probably, maybe 2005. Would be able to tell us, honestly, like the reality of what they came back to. Cause
do you think it's been, because as far as I know, it has been, unless it's kept on like the hush-hush, it hasn't been broadcast that this happens to the veterans returning from more current wars.
Well, I think we've gotten less of a footprint too, so it's like you're not going to probably see it as much, but I don't know. I don't, one of those things is I don't actively go to like an airport and just shit on everybody, but I'm sure there's still that open like
it seems
tension.
Like now with like social media, you would see like cases going around of like, I saw this guy harassing a veteran today, and here, I mean, I haven't seen any of that. So
yeah,
something.
I'm not saying it's not the same for sure, but I'm sure it probably still happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it does too. But I would hope to think, just based off of what I had, like the lack of anything proven that it is happening.
Yeah,
I would hope to think that there's nowhere anything close to what it was in Vietnam. Regardless of the war and what you think, you should never ever that veteran was never fighting for the country or the cause. He was fighting for himself and him.
Yeah, his buddies.
Maybe her. I'm not sure. Particularly him to the left and right of him. Like how can you shit on someone for that? That was ultimate courage.
Yeah,
fighting for another guy. He doesn't even know him. He's not fighting. He is not there because he's like, you know what? Yeah, fuck communism, man. I hate the North Vietnamese. We're going to win this war. I'm doing it all for them.
Yeah.
He does not give a fuck about that.
At least
he's fighting for whoever's next to him.
Yeah, especially initially. I mean, that was, the reason why like I can get behind this, and then as things start going on, it's like 180, like hell no, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, when you're in the heat of battle, that goes out the window. You don't care about the cause of the war. You just care about survival and keeping them alive.
Yeah.
If you're like some officer, you got to keep your whole platoon alive.
Yeah.
You they care about communism and all that bullshit.
Yeah, you're just worried about your objective, and that's getting home.
And meanwhile, when they come home, everybody who hasn't been there has been chilling on their fat ass on their couch all day, watching this on the news. They're like, yeah, these guys fucking hate Vietnamese babies. Yeah. And spit on them.
Unfortunately, but thankfully, bringing it full circle is that's the thing that we go and fight for, is their ability to sit at home, feel safe, be safe, talk as if they're safe.
Using that good old First Amendment that you love and enjoy.
Yeah.
Use it to its full extent.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we love talking and expressing our opinions. Maybe you guys will subscribe, kind of listen to our future episodes.
Please subscribe. We only have 20 subscribers. Please.
I don't mean it for that. I mean like so they can continuously listen,
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're either going to like our content or not. So the number doesn't matter.
I invite you to watch, period. If you don't want to subscribe.
Yeah.
We're not big enough to where you're just going to find us in the recommendations. So
Yeah, at all.
it's more beneficial to subscribe. So in other words, hit that. What do they always say? What's up, guys? Hit that smash the like button. You smash the like button. No, on this channel, I don't care how big we ever get, you're not gonna hear that bullshit, and you're definitely not gonna hear, "Welcome to the channel. This video is brought to you by Manscaped." Oh my god,
I hate that.
As soon as they start with stupid sorry, Lex Friedman. He does it though.
Yeah.
He's gotten better at it though. Like I was saying, he no longer does the each.
Yeah.
By the way, still a shout out Lex Friedman.
Still love you, bro.
Yeah, still love you. Yeah, he's a one man show, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what did we didn't do our usual spread.
No,
I
we
think
did
we're more
space exploration.
Space in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I guess that'll be the title of this one. Colonizing Mars and Vietnam vets.
And we got to put the picture with the green silhouette.
Yeah, we'll put the green square around. This will be the thumbnail. Thumbnail like that.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be you this time. No, it's going to be me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy your week.
As always, comments and hit us up on that email that we have.
Yeah, we love to hear what
Yeah.
you guys want to talk about. Maybe problems in your life.
We can talk all day about stuff we come up with. We cut these videos down to 2 hours because of the memory card storage.
Yeah, the editing
and
too.
the editing. So yeah, just whatever you guys want to know, let us know, and we'll chit chat about it. We'll see it for sure.
See you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.